All right, council, we were here yesterday on State of Texas versus Later Tanton. On yesterday, your client did not appear to inform the court that he thought she was in the Houston jail.
That is
So,
correct.
is she in the Houston jail?
No, Your Honor, she did make bond in Houston. And I got a hold of her mother yesterday afternoon. And Ms. Tayton finally called my office. I told her that she needed to be here today, this morning at 9 o'clock here at the 187th District Court, Judge.
All right, Deputy Lord, did you make an announcement in the hallway for Ms. Tayton?
Yes, Your Honor, I did. There's somebody in the hallway and nobody answered.
All right, stay.
The state moves to revoke the defendant's bond in this case, or in all cases.
All right, that will be granted. I'll remand your client without bond. If she presents herself, the court will reconsider.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you so much.
Can I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Liz. All right, Caroline, this is the video. And who do you have?
I've got Renee Gardea, Your Honor.
All right. So what is happening? If you can come forward.
Come up, Renee.
Hello. My understanding is that you were not here, your attorney told me you were not here yesterday because you were unaware of the setting. So before she leaves today, I want to make sure that she makes sure they have the correct address on file and they'll be able to show her that in the back.
Okay.
All right, so where are we on this case, counsel?
Your Honor, I'm going to need some more time. I'm going to need to explore a couple of those issues I've mentioned to the court prior to the docket today. I'm anticipating probably filing a motion.
Okay. All right, I normally don't do this, but I know it'll take some time for all of those things to be done. Lance, can I have a 45-day reset on Renee Gardea, please? And counsel, are you going to file that motion or are you asking the court to request it?
I'll file it.
July 18th.
All right, so we're gonna do July 18th, and they're gonna give you a reset form. So on July 18th, make sure you're back here at 9 a.m., okay? All right, thank you. And Lance, on that one, they're doing rebounds. And sir, who are you here for?
There's no, just waiting for the prosecutor in case set for next week.
Okay. Right. Then we're gonna take out. All right, state. Yeah, good job. All right, court is gonna call 2023 CR 3373, State of Texas versus Pedro Matamoros. State. If you could announce.
Afraid, Your Honor, I'm not aware of which case that is. Can I?
Just a moment.
It's all in the same.
We'll come back and see if the stoner comes.
Yes, please.
All right. Court is calling 2023 CR 3373, State of Texas versus Pedro Montemorelos.
Travis Banks, the state of Texas.
All right, this hearing was scheduled yesterday at 9 a.m. Defense counsel was a no-show and the defendant was a no-show. The court recalled it for today. It is 9:11 a.m. This hearing was scheduled at 9 a.m. Deputy, did you make an announcement? And the response? All right, state.
Your Honor, the state moves to revoke the defendant's bond in this case.
All right, the court will issue a judge's warrant due to it being a PR bond. And I will remand the defendant without bond. If he makes an appearance, the court will consider. Oh, I'm sorry, you can stay there. There are other cases on the docket. All right, the court is calling 2023 CR 3279, State of Texas versus Timothy Bunch. Could I have the state announce, please?
Travis Banks, the state of Texas, Your Honor.
All right, this case was actually scheduled yesterday. The court recalled it for today to give the defendant a chance to appear. This hearing today was scheduled at 9 a.m. It's now 9:12 a.m. And I believe the deputy is making announcements. Deputy Mejia, was an announcement made? And the results?
Nobody's out there.
All right, state.
Your Honor, the state moves to revoke the defendant's bond on all cases that were on the docket for this defendant.
All right, the court will grant the state's motion, forfeit the defendant's bond, remand him without bond. If the defendant makes an appearance, the court will reconsider. And Caroline, on Robert Valdez, is there a active warrant on the case that he's on the docket for today? It's 2023 CR 3276.
Yes, it does look like he has an active.
Okay. All right, the court is going to call 2023 CR 1270, State of Texas versus Joseph Montemoreno for the state.
Travis Banks, of the state of Texas.
All right, this hearing was scheduled yesterday. The court had it recalled for today because the defendant was not present. Defense counsel stated on March 2023 that the defendant was in Guadalupe County Jail and a judge's warrant was issued. Caroline, is there still a judge's warrant on this case or no? And Deputy Mejia, did you make an announcement in the hallway?
Yes, Judge, nobody's out there.
I'm sorry, it's 2023 CR 1270.
No, he does not have an active.
All right, this hearing was scheduled at 9 a.m. It's 9:15 a.m. State.
Your Honor, the state at this time will make a motion to revoke this defendant's bond.
All right, that'll be granted. The court will issue a bond forfeiture, remand the defendant without bond. If he makes an appearance, the court will reconsider. Court is going to call 2023 CR 1203, State of Texas versus Robert Shanahan for the state.
Travis Banks, of the state of Texas.
All right. This case was set on yesterday. The court recalled it today.
There's, all right, this case was set yesterday. And the court recalled it today for the Robert Shanahan to appear. This hearing was scheduled at 9:16. I'm sorry, at 9 a.m. It is currently 9:16 a.m. Deputy Mahia, did you make an announcement in the hallway? And the result? State.
State makes a motion to revoke this defendant's bond.
All right, that'll be granted. And I'm sorry, Caroline, those files that I gave you, I need to correction. All right, and then we're just waiting for Flores, I believe. Thank you. All right, and Lance, did you see where Guillermo, Laura, and Hector Garza are? Thank you. Oh, sorry. I will accept you into the room.
You see yourself? Yeah.
And do we have all the jurors here?
No, Judge.
Is there one missing?
There were 4 missing when I checked,
Okay. All right, well, we're not starting until 9:30, so they're good.
and 1 was still not there.
Yeah. So does her attorney get take them to the back?
Retired military,
Right, so that part just.
Can you put them on a
Okay.
brief hold?
easy enough.
Just want to make sure you're aware.
All right, so state defense. There's a juror who's lost. That's why we're not starting just yet. So we're trying to, well, not we,
Well,
Lance is trying to direct her to the appropriate place. I think he's going to go get her.
Where did she go?
We've got 2 replacement judges. We don't even need the alternate. I
She
can just
is,
take one of them.
yeah, she is either at municipal court or either
Awesome.
she's in the other building on the 5th floor. So we
Short one with the
just,
short hair?
I have no idea which one it is.
She didn't remember 4th floor, 187th, Judge Boyd?
No.
Or I'm hoping she's at the municipal court saying, I'm really looking for Judge Boyd. Where is? It
Hi, IT, you were called?
was all good. We got it. I've-
Sadly, I'm not.
Thank you so much. Robert, he's just checking with Jason very quickly, but so it should be quick.
Okay.
And if we bring the jury in, I'll make sure you have it.
Screw you. Yeah, no one's dead or molested, so I don't know how I'm gonna try
Those are
this.
fun trials.
I don't know how I'm gonna try this case. No one's dead or molested.
Nobody got their wee touched. or-
Yeah, nobody got killed,
I
so.
tried a drug case in the 430 and the 186 had so much fun. The 437.
Yeah, it's been so long since I tried a case where no one's dead or molested.
Mhm.
No, she's been on
I
track.
had a phone in possession last year. That was a lot of fun.
I'll leave that to your discretion. Judge.
All right, have you talked to the complainant? Can you let the complainant know?
Yeah, I'll.
All right, so they're just gonna call,
Well, the complaint, I think, is a coma.
What did you do this time?
Talked to the mom recently. That's at least who we've had as a main point of contact.
okay, so if you'll get in touch with the complainant to let them know.
They don't live in it, but next to each other anymore.
Okay, I just want-
My client did.
all right, I just want to make sure that they know. And then it'll be taken care of.
Okay. Can she leave or she wanted to wait?
She can leave and Mr. Bauer, if you'll come back this afternoon.
I have a doctor's appointment at 2.
Okay.
Can I come back tomorrow morning?
Yes, and
Okay.
it'll be done, but for now, she's going to be on tracking. And then I'll take care of this.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Hello, Junior.
So did we find her?
She was on her way, going floor to floor, calling her out, see if he could find her.
Okay, I'm wondering if she's in the other court building
One of you know
Well,
which
she
one
was
was worth it, right?
here.
I don't know.
building, we just
I
don't
would
know
put my
where.
money on that one.
That's what I'm.
on the 4th floor?
No, she went back downstairs.
Okay,
And for
You know how in Target, how you can make the announcement, Is there any way we could do that?
I told me he had to go announce.
Lost
like,
child.
It's like a lost child, like
Yes.
his kid is lost.
but you know what the problem is? This courthouse is sort of difficult if you're not in it every day.
I mean, really, is it? I mean, it's got 4 floors and
she
then
was
it's got
downstairs,
halls.
Like, if you go to the central jury room, then just take the elevators up.
Here, so this is
Yeah.
the email, what she was mentioning. It's,
Everybody wants to send us where
I
you're.
want to confirm that the GPS will probably be taken on it. So. No, she's just taking it off. She's been on tracking. My understanding is that she doesn't know all the Disney. And then those are the judges. Don't do that.
Yeah. They want to. Trial.
Yeah. She shouldn't, but if she does, at least now.
He's gonna give it, he's likely to give it. We get to give it.
Okay, I think the juror's here because I hear the deputy asking her what happened. See, I always tell people, fourth floor, Judge Boyd, because it's easy to get lost in this building. All right, thank you.
Snap.
Last that you go on the search.
Yes. And her phone kept, and every time I talk to her, I get about 3 or 4 words in, and it just goes out.
That sounds like the basement to me.
Yeah, don't think that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like,
Oh, man.
They're here.
All right.
Stand founder.
Yeah, thanks. Court is calling 2022 CR 7550A, State of Texas versus Courtney Pride. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Louis Martinez on behalf of Ms. Pride.
All right, are both parties ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sure.
All right, I've just been informed that the jurors are here, so Deputy, if you could bring the jurors in, please. All right, the rule will be invoked. All right, you all may be seated. She's gonna give the announcement when the jurors are here.
I don't have any witnesses in here and I don't know who the young lady is in the back. So.
Okay.
It means that people can't sit there and listen to it that way. They can't change their testimony if they hear something. They won't. Same thing with that. The witnesses don't get. They can't change their testimony to someone else's.
And state you're only proceeding on count 2, correct?
Yes.
All right.
All right, for the jury.
If you say I've never had
Oh, no, please be seated. We're standing for you all. All right, everyone, please be seated. All right, so just so you know, whenever you're brought in and you're sitting in the box, you can sit in whatever seat. So there's no assigned seating in the box. Usually, probably by day 2 or so, jurors start switching around on me to see if I remember who they are. And I know someone got a little bit lost today. So remember, 187th, Judge Boyd, 4th floor. And if you ask anybody in the courthouse, they should be able to direct you to where this court is. So I know you all took the oath for downstairs, but I'm going to give you the oath for this child's trial specifically. So if you could raise your right hands for me, please. Do you and each of you solemnly swear or affirm in the case of the state of Texas versus Courtney Pride, you will a true verdict render according to the law and the evidence, so help you God? All right, you may lower your hand. State.
In the name and by authority of the state of Texas, the grand jury of Bexar County, state of Texas,
duly organized and paneled and sworn as such at the July term 2022 of the Judicial District Court of said county in said court at said term, do present in and to said court that in the county and state aforesaid and anterior to the presentment of this indictment on or about the 5th day of December 2021, Courtney Kiara Pride, hereinafter referred to as defendant, did intentionally, knowingly, and recklessly cause bodily injury to Adam Moreno, hereinafter referred to as complainant, and defendant knew complainant was a security officer, and the complainant was performing a duty as a security officer by striking the complainant with the hand of the defendant and striking the complainant with the foot of the defendant against the peace and dignity of the state.
Right, to that count, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Right, thank you. State, do you have opening statements? You may proceed.
Adam Moreno, security officer at Smoke. He worked for a company. They were. He's been working with no problem. A while. He was working in Kansas. County PM all the way. The bar was closed. And on this night in particular, he worked at around 2 a.m. trying to bargain. That's all problem. So he, along with his partner, these COURTNEY, trying to clear everyone out of the ball. Trying to get everyone out. So they so as Adam was clearing around the ball, he's making a big stretch. The pizza in the moon was trying to make sure the moon that was across the ball. Now what Adam does is he goes up to the door of the women's restroom and stands like this with his back. Not standing. What then happens is you hear the struggle behind you. What's going on? And he turns around and he's forward. He runs into the women's restroom. That's nice. Now, they're able to take one of the suspects. But another suspect doesn't end up stealing that. Now, as Adam approaches, he gets kicked in the face. Now, causes scratch to his eyes and bruising. Is that person wearing a high heel? That's my. And you're going to hear from Adam and say, and hear all these. But you're also going to hear from SAPD officer. He's called out to help assist with the. Now, he's not the handling officer. He's not the one in charge. But as it can do, they can break up what different duties are. And he did. He walked up the boat, both the ways. And read the Moreno one. He asked if they would get seat. You're going to hear that seat. He did it in 2 parts. First part is out of the curb, and then he's taken to the squad car. You're also going to hear from UEPI Everhart. She also works for SAP. It's her job to come out and document evidence. State programs. Make sure that things are presented in the best light to where it can really be looked at. Now, at the end of this, we're going to ask you to find 45 days.
Defense.
Yes, Judge. Good morning, folks. A lot of things, it's just what I said that on December 4th, going into December 5th of 2021, the Adam Moreno, Bruce Cardinals, were working security guards at Smoke. It's a barbecue, it's a bar, it's right on the side of 35. It's a nice place. It attracts a very middle class crowd. And on this particular evening, there's a group of women that were there to celebrate graduation. And they were having a good time. And 2 of the women that were there, 45, and her very good friend Jackie Harwood. And they're there celebrating graduation. And they're drinking, and they're laughing. These are all the things you do when you're out with friends. Now, right around 2 o'clock, just like Mr. Esquartez, there's kind of a rush to when you get down. wants to go down. Stop the water burger, go home. And there's never this kind of issue when it comes to men's bathroom, but when it comes to women's bathrooms. In the Boston, that's the case. It's right around 2 in the morning. It's a bunch of women, 15, 16 women were trying to use it. And 2 of those women are just. Now, they're in the restroom. Courtney's literally in the stall. And she hears a struggle. And what you're gonna see is that there's actually a cell cam video that shows you what's going on. Because as they're in the bathroom, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Officer Moreno, Officer Cardinals, Security Officer Moreno, Security Officer Cardinals are there to put them down. They're there to get everybody out. Why? Because the sooner they get out, the sooner their shift is over, maybe. So they're in there. Bruce Cardinals goes in there and she very artfully, very discreetly clears the bathroom by jumping in and yelling. Pardon my French. Don't the fuck out. She's banging on stall doors. She's throwing these women out. Because that's her demeanor. That's how she handles these things. Jasmine Hardaway responds by taking out herself. So what do you do in 2020, 2021, 2020? You take out your phone. She starts recording. And she's not this meek little flower who sits in the corner and records. No, she's yelling like, we're just trying to use the restroom. Why is there a man in the restroom? Hey, TikTok, do your thing, shut this place down. This is how we're being treated. And as she's doing that, and Teresa Cardinals is telling her, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. Teresa sees her recording. What she does is she goes up and she knocks her phone out of her hand, and therein starts the situation. Therein starts the altercation. Just come out of the bathroom. She comes off. She sees her friend in this physical altercation spirit. Well, what he knows is a push up there. Put bathroom, wash her hand and get out. But she doesn't understand what's happening. She jumps in there to help her friend. And as that struggle is ensuing, Adam Moreno comes in. And his testimony is going to be this, it really tells a story that's best for them, right? Oh, I had my back to the door, I was getting in. But really, once he hears the banging, once he hears the curse, once he realizes that Teresa Cardinals is working trying to get him out, he's speaking in. He wants to see what's going on. He wants to make sure he's safe. So when the altercation happens, he jumps in. And Courtney is there defending her friend, trying to make heads and tails of the situation. And she's a man, one, in the women's bathroom, which is completely inappropriate, and jumping on her, which causes her concern. So she takes it, and she's wearing big boots, wants to go for the knee, she's got a heel on it, and she does, she catches them when they come down. But she's defending the friend, she's defending. Now, as Mr. Escobar told me, there's a story out there, there's a statement. And so, Courtney decides to tell us the story 2 different times. And so you're going to get a chance to see what she looked like. Is she slurring her words? Is she hammered? Because remember, we can talk about involuntary participation. You don't get to say I'm not responsible. That's not the case. You won't see it. You'll see a young lady who went out, had a few drinks, still had her faculties about her, had a well, it was well within her normal range of function. A woman who can tell the story. She's not angry, she's not emotional, she's not unreasonable. She's just saying, you know what, we can just kind of and wash our hands. And what you're going to hear really is the story of 2 security guards who don't know how to clear it out without starting to fight. Courtney said she talks to officers, she gives her time. She gives it twice, even though she's been told, you don't have to talk. And what you're going to see is you're going to see her treating Officer David with respect, being forthcoming with it. You're going to see the difference that when you have a trained officer and they know how to de-escalate a situation and to treat people like human beings, they're treated like human beings. And it's in stark contrast to the situation that you're going to hear about with the two security guards, Mr. Moreno and Sargent. Now, folks, this is not going to be a long trial. This is not the Michael Jackson trial, the O.J. Simpson trial. It's not going to be 2 months. And in fact, I don't think it's going to take long. So I'm going to ask if all of you, 14 of you, something like. I'm going to ask you for 14 sets of open ears, for 14 sets of open eyes, for your attention, and for 14 open minds. And I have every confidence that when you hear about what happened that night, the fact that Mr. Moreno and Ms. Cardenas do not come to you with clean hands, that when you look at all the evidence in this case, you hear the stories, and you see what's on video, that you really come to the conclusion that Courtney Pride acted in lawful self-defense for self and lawful defense for friend Jasmine, and that she's not guilty of this crime. I have every confidence of asking you the case. Thank you.
All right, state, call your first witness.
State calls Adam Moreno.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure that you speak up so that the jurors can hear you and the court reporter can hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
If you'll state your name for the record and spell it, please.
Adam Moreno, ADAMMOREN,
State.
Texas.
No, I'm asking the state to ask you questions. No problem.
Adam, who do you currently work for?
Right now, I work at Haven for Hope, the homeless shelter.
What do you currently do for Haven for Hope?
I'm a licensed security officer over there.
How long have you been a licensed security officer?
To date, about 4 to 5 years.
Okay. What does it take to become a licensed security officer in Texas?
We have to go through training through SAPD. We get registered using a firearm, medical equipment, handcuffs, pepper spray, shotgun.
Do you have to register with the state of Texas?
Yes.
And do you have to keep up with that registration?
Yes, we have to requalify every 2 years.
Okay. And currently, are you requalified?
Yes.
So you mentioned some of your training. So what exactly are you trained to do?
We're training for more or less to handle people with behavior issues, being able to utilize our firearm if need be, pepper spray for self-defense, batons, any sort of equipment that we need to use when in an altercation of any kind.
So I want to take you back to December 5th of 2021. Were you a licensed security officer back then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And who did you work for back then?
It was a Texas State Guard.
And how long did you work for them?
About 2.5 years.
Now, on December 5th of 2021, where were you assigned?
I was assigned to the Smoke Barbecue and Sky Bar.
Okay. Had you ever worked there before?
I worked there for about 2 years.
What was your shift when you were working?
Usually Monday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from about 9 p.m. to about 3 a.m.
And what time would the bar close?
2 a.m.
So for those of us who aren't aware, where is Smoke Barbecue located?
It's about downtown. Address is 501 East Crockett. And I remember that.
I'm sorry, guys.
501 East Crockett.
So it's near downtown.
Mhm.
Is it in Bexar County, Texas?
Yes.
So what was the protocol whenever you were closing down Smoke's Barbecue?
So about 2 a.m. once the bar closes down, we as the officers have to clear out the bar, make sure everybody gets out. You know, we can close up, kind of settle for the night, make sure everything's good.
And what would you do as a part of this closing?
Pretty much just let people know the bar's closed, you know, just show them the exit, let them know, you know, have a good night, take away any drinks that they may be trying to sneak out of the bar at the night, throw them away, things like that.
Now, on December 5th of 2021, were you working with anyone?
Yes, I was working with two other officers, Teresa Cardenas and Luis Gonzalez.
How often had you worked with either of those officers?
About a year, more or less, for both of them.
Were they always working at Smoke Barbecue?
No, not always.
Would your company change it out?
Every now and again, yes.
So on December 5th of 2021, were you having any difficulties clearing out the bar?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay, what do you mean by that? Not necessarily.
Some people usually try to take their time, finish their drinks at the end of the night. Most people like to use the bathroom right at the end instead of close to closing time. So most of the time people would run to the bathroom and use it right at the end.
So when they do this, what do you guys do?
Usually we give them about a 10-minute leeway time in order for them to leave. And then after that, we have to start verbally giving commands, letting them know, hey, the bar is closed. It's time to exit the bar at this time.
And is that your company's policy or whose policy is that?
That's my company policy that we have to go through in order to, that's what we're assigned to do at the end of the night.
By Smoke Barbecue.
Mhm.
So were there any restrooms that people were using that you guys couldn't clear out?
There's a female bathroom, it's usually the last one that has to be cleared out.
So whenever that happens, are you the one that goes in there and clears them out? Who goes in and clears them
We
out?
send a female officer in there.
And here, just slow down just so that we're not talking over one another for the court reporter, okay? Thank you. So it's a female officer who has to close it out, right? Who was closing out the bathroom on this night?
Teresa.
Okay. What were you doing while Teresa was doing that?
I was clearing out the rest of the bar.
Did you ever return to the women's restroom?
Whenever that's the last post to clear out everybody, yes, I'll stand by.
And when you say stand by, what do you mean?
So at the time, I will stand by the door of the women's bathroom in order to not let anybody else into the bathroom. So that nobody else keeps going in there. We don't have this recurring issue.
So do you stand there looking into the women's restroom while this is all
No, I put my
happening?
back turned.
I'm sorry, can you please?
Yeah, sorry, Adam, it's one of those things where we just have to make sure that the record is clear. So you stand by with your back turned. On this night, did you hear anything?
At the time, yes, I started to hear a scuffle behind me, where I heard a choking sound from Teresa. So that's when I decided to turn around and assist where it was needed.
And what did you see when you turned around?
So when I turned around, I saw Teresa in a chokehold by one of the females, and then another female was striking her in the face.
And what did you do when you saw this?
I took action. I decided to separate all the females from each other. The first female, I was able to get her down to the floor, assisted her, and then I detained her.
Okay, and what happened with the second female?
With the second female, she was still having Teresa in a chokehold, so I separated them. After that, early in the night, the floor was wet, so while trying to apprehend the other female, she ended up falling. As I was reaching to get her, she was kicking her feet, and then she struck me over my left eyebrow.
And what type of injuries did this cause?
I had scrapes on my knees. I had an open wound over my left eye and a couple of scratches on my arms.
How did you get the open wound on the left eye?
I was kicked by her high heel.
So were you able to successfully detain both of them?
Yes.
And once they were detained, what did you do?
After we detained them, we walked them out to the front of the bar, sat them down, and we called SAPD.
And did you ever talk to any of the officers that night?
Yes.
Okay, and while you were speaking with the officers, did anyone ever take photos of your injuries?
Yes.
May I approach, Judge?
Yes.
Judge, you got no objections to those photos?
All right, what are he has no objections to them, so what are their numbers?
Judge, they were gonna be, it states exhibit number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
In defense, you have no objection to those photos?
Judge, I've looked at those photos. I don't have any objection to them.
All right, then state, are you offering those into evidence?
I was about to.
All right, so are you?
State offer states exhibit 1 through 8.
All right, states exhibits number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are admitted without objection.
Adam, I'm gonna show you the marked as state exhibit 1 and 2. What are these photos of?
The photos of me,
Okay, and or what are you wearing in these photos?
my security uniform.
Okay. And then I'm also gonna show you state exhibits number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I want you to take a look at these photos and describe what are on these photographs.
To be the injuries I sustained during the altercation.
And Your Honor, permission to publish?
Granted.
Danny, what numbers are those? 1 through?
Sure, I just showed you 3.
I know, I'm just asking what numbers were the 1 through
8.
8. Okay.
So Adam, how long did this entire situation last?
I can't remember.
Okay. You feel, did you ever say anything to the women as they were in the restroom?
I just assisted with Teresa, letting them know that it was time to leave, that the bar was closed.
Now, we've been asking you about these women. Do you see one of the women here in court today?
Yes.
Where do you see her?
Clad red and black.
Or where do you see her?
Right across.
If you can point to her. Okay, and what is she wearing? Can you describe what article of clothing she's wearing?
Plaid, red and blue. Blouse.
Okay. And of the two women, which one was this?
The one that struck me.
Struck you with her foot?
Yeah.
Okay. Pass a witness.
Defense.
Just 1 second.
Judge, can we approach really quickly?
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a brief recess. And so we're going to come back at 10:30. You have heard some testimony in this case so far. You are not allowed to do any research. You're not allowed to do any of your own investigation. You're not allowed to start deliberating in your head or deliberating with each other or talking about this case to each other. Does everyone understand? All right, so I'm going to bring you back here at 10:30. Everyone, please rise for the jurors.
The rule has been invoked. You don't have to put this in the record. The rule has been invoked. What that means is you're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you're allowed to speak to are attorneys for this state or the defense. So we're gonna just take a short break. We're gonna be back here at 10:30. So if you wanna go somewhere and come back, you're more than welcome to do so. You're welcome.
Okay, see, yeah, that's it, because I think I used Louis D. Martinez.
How much money you are? You have something. Okay, I'll ask.
Oh, my God.
I think that's why I was. That's the point of no return, so.
I think I'm gonna take this down.
We'll see. We go from there. We'll see. And so once we go, we're just, we're in. And I'm not going. I'm not going.
Oh, and defense, do you have the information that the state wanted to
Yeah,
send?
Judge, I've got the notes. I've reviewed them, so I'm prepared.
Okay.
I just saw this text. Yeah, I know. I saw it after we started.
And I'm gonna give, just so everyone knows, I'm gonna give them their lunch break at noon.
Yes, Judge.
We're ready.
All right.
All right, everyone, please be seated. In state, have you passed the witness?
Yes, Your Honor, pass the witness.
All right, defense.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Moreno? Yeah. My name is Luis Martinez. I'm Courtney's attorney. I'm gonna ask some questions. If I put something in a way that doesn't make sense, or I just don't phrase it the right way, let me know and I'll be happy to clear it up for you, okay? Okay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Moreno, you talked to us about having to be trained to be a security guard, correct?
Yes.
How long is that training?
We go through a 40-hour course.
40 hours? Okay. And when was it you went through that training?
I went back to that training in 2018.
Where did you go through that training at?
I recall through Allied Universal. I went through their security company training.
Okay. And before 2018, were you a security guard?
No.
What did you do before 2018?
I was working at Echo Park Automotive.
In what capacity?
I was just a driver.
How far did you go in school?
I graduated from the University of Incarnate Word. I got my bachelor's
And what's your degree in?
in kinesiology.
Have you ever applied to law enforcement?
No.
So, Mr. Moreno, your testimony was that around closing time, that folks often will wait till about closing time to use the bathroom, right?
Yes.
And that was your experience, that fact was pretty normal.
Yes.
Now, part of your training is to get people out, right?
Yes.
Closing time comes around, you're gonna get the folks out of the bar.
Yes.
Because the bar is closing down, there's no reason for them to be there, right?
Yes.
Now, in addition to that, what time does your shift end?
3 a.m.
And do you get to leave when you are done closing down the bar?
Yes,
So in fact, if everyone's out of the bar by 2:30, you can leave at 2:30, right?
if need be, yes.
As you said, it was fairly normal for there to be kind of a rush to the bathroom around closing time. Was that for the men's bathroom or the women's bathroom primarily?
It's for both.
And that night, whose job was it to close down the men's bathroom?
The other officer,
Which officer was that?
Luis Gonzalez.
Officer Gonzalez. And so at some point, would you say it was closer to 2 or 2:15 that you go to the women's bathroom and stand at the door to not let anybody else in?
Be about close to 2:15.
And once again, in that time period from 2 to 2:15, a female officer would go in there to get everybody out, right?
Yes,
And it was your testimony that you had worked with Teresa Cardenas plenty of times before, right?
yes.
So what was her method for getting people out?
She would stand in the very back of the bathroom, let them know, hey, it's time to go, time is up, you know, after giving the 10-minute courtesy to use the bathroom. After that, she would start giving verbal commands to any patrons that are still in the bathroom.
Okay, when you say verbal commands, what do you mean by verbal commands?
So in the security world, verbal commands are more or less just saying, hey, guys, it's time to go, bar is closed, it's time to exit the bathroom, time to exit the property. So it's more so just letting them know, you need to exit the bathroom, it's time to exit the property, bar is closed.
And let's be honest, that's not, it's not all shiny and happy, is it?
Not always,
Okay, it's a lot of profanity used, right?
not from us.
Not from y'all.
No.
Okay. And so you're dealing with bars night in, night out, but you're not using any profanity when people don't want to leave the bar.
We try to stay professional.
Is that you don't use profanity, or yes, sometimes you do?
I don't,
Your coworkers, did they use profanity?
I don't know.
Well, you'd worked around them plenty of times. Were they in the habit of using profanity?
No.
They were not.
No.
Okay. And so instead of I don't know, it would have been they weren't using profanity, right?
At that night, I don't.
Okay. You testified that at some point you also told the female patrons to leave.
Yes,
Okay, and when was that?
a little after Teresa had given the commands, it's already been way past the time of courtesy. And that's when all I say is, okay, ladies, it's time to go.
Okay, now, but you're outside the door, right?
Yes,
So at the time of the altercation, I mean, at some point you had to go back in the bathroom, right?
yes,
Okay, because you heard a struggle, is what you said.
yes,
About how many women were still in the bathroom?
2,
There were only 2 women in the bathroom. Okay. Just Courtney and Jasmine, right?
yes.
And were they refusing to leave, or what was the issue why there were only 2 left?
So when we're in there, after we had given our verbal commands, we hear a bunch of laughing and giggling. More so in this terms of not taking us seriously, like we need to leave
Okay. And so you were able to hear the laughing and giggling,
in the beginning, yes,
despite the fact that you were outside.
yes.
And you said that your attention was brought to the situation because you heard a choking sound, right?
Yes,
And I mean, your testimony wasn't just that you heard a scuffle, you literally heard a choking sound,
yes,
and you knew that to be your partner,
yes,
despite the fact that you were outside.
yes.
Now, how often did you guys had problems getting women out of the bathroom?
Every night,
Every night. How often did the police been called out for that?
maybe once or twice.
When was the last time that you had kind of an altercation getting women out of the bathroom?
That night.
Before that?
Usually after big concerts that the bar would hold.
So walk me through the situation and you hear a choking sound, so you run in there, right?
Yes,
Okay, and the only three people in the bathroom are Teresa Cardenas, Courtney Pride, and Jasmine Hardaway, right?
yes,
And Courtney and Jasmine, they don't look alike, right?
no,
So you could easily tell the difference between the two of them.
yes.
So which one was choking Teresa?
It was the taller female.
Okay, would that be Courtney?
For me, yes.
Okay. What was going on with Jasmine at the time?
She was striking Teresa in
Okay.
the face.
How was she striking her?
Punches.
Like, was she facing her and punching her?
Yes,
So one of them was holding her by the neck and the other one was punching her in the head.
yes,
And I mean, it's fair to say that neither Courtney nor Jasmine are, like 5 feet little girls, right?
No.
I mean, they're adult sized women.
yes,
And so what you're telling this jury is you walk in and there's 2 adult sized women attacking your partner.
yes,
Now, at some point, Teresa told you that Jasmine had just punched her, right? Unprovoked.
yes.
And so the first thing that you did was try to get Teresa free from the chokehold.
I first was trying to separate the women.
Okay. I mean, but the first thing that you would do is try to get someone to stop choking your partner, right?
Yes,
And you would do that even before you separate the women.
yes,
So in fact, the first thing you did wasn't separate, you tried to get Teresa out of the chokehold, right?
yes.
So when you were able to do that, what happens next?
After that, I was able to assist Jasmine to the ground and detain her.
When you say assist, what did you do to do that?
I helped her to the ground. As in I was able to get a hold of her and assist her to the ground, get her on her stomach and then detain her.
Okay, you're not assisting, you're taking her down, right?
It's assisting.
Okay, that's what you call it, as assisting. Okay, the rest of the world calls that taking somebody down, right?
Yes,
So you take her down. Was Jasmine able to hit you?
yes,
Is that in your statement?
yes,
And so when you're taking Jasmine down, what's going on with Courtney? What is Courtney doing?
at that point, Teresa and her are in an altercation.
Okay. And what happens next?
After I detained Jasmine, I went to assist Teresa with Courtney. Courtney ends up on the floor because early in the night before it was wet, she falls on the floor. As I go in to reach to help detain Courtney, she's kicking her feet and her high heel strikes me.
Okay. And then who detained Courtney?
I did.
And so when you say detain, you and and Teresa placed both women in handcuffs, right?
Yes,
And then took them out to wait for police?
yes,
So when the police show up, where are the two women?
they're sitting up front, outside the bar,
Okay, on the curb, correct?
yes.
Had you ever seen Courtney or Jasmine there before?
No.
Mr. Moreno, looking back at that, would you have done anything differently?
No,
Knowing what you know now, you would have done everything exactly the way you did it before, right?
yes.
I'll pass witness.
State.
Nothing further from this witness, Judge.
All right, is this witness excused or subject for recall?
I don't need him back, Judge.
Excuse, Judge.
All right. The rule has been invoked. Again, what that means, you can't discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you're allowed to speak to are attorneys for the state of the defense. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, you may step down. State, call your next witness.
State calls Officer David.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, you can have a seat. If you'll state your name for the record, please spell it and make sure you keep your voice up so that the jurors and the court reporter can hear, please.
Officer James David, James James, last name David, David.
All right, state.
Officer David, who do you currently work for?
San Antonio Police Department,
How long have you worked with SAPD?
2.5 years.
What unit are you currently assigned to?
Currently, I'm the West Patrol B shift.
And what areas does that cover?
Covers, West is pretty big, so it covers pretty much from I-10 Calabria all the way to 1604.
And on December 5th of 2021, were you working with SAPD?
Yes.
And what unit were you assigned to then?
On that day, I was assigned to East Patrol Dog Watch.
Dog watch, what does that mean?
Dog Watch is overnight, so 10:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m.
And East Patrol, what area does that cover?
East is also a big area, so it covers from downtown 35 or 37 rather, all the way up 35 to 410.
And on December 5th of 2021, were you called out for an assault?
Yeah,
Where were you called out to?
the Smoke Bar and Grill.
And where is that located?
I believe it's located on East Houston and West Commerce, around that area.
Roughly what area of town are we talking about?
Closer to downtown, near the Alamo Dome, in that area right there.
Is that in Bear County?
Yes,
So when you got to the scene, were you the main handling officer for this case?
I was not, no,
Who was the main handling officer?
Officer DeLeon.
But did you do anything at the scene?
Yes,
And what did you do?
I provided cover, pretty much cover is to assist the handling officer with gathering information or gathering witnesses or suspects or victims.
Okay, and did you talk to anyone there at Smokes Barbecue?
Yes, I did.
Who did you end up talking to?
Mainly I talked to Miss Courtney Pride.
And where was she when you talked to her?
When I made contact with her, she was sitting at the entrance handcuffed.
And why were you the officer who spoke with her?
Just because I was, like I said, I was first one on, or I was one of the first ones on scene and I was covered, so I just want to get the ball rolling for Officer DeLeon, just so I could gather information.
Was Courtney alone when you spoke with her?
No, she had somebody with her.
Okay, and was that other person also in handcuffs?
Yes.
And what did you do when you approached them?
I observed that they were in handcuffs already, so obviously they were not free to go, so I immediately read them Miranda rights.
And why did you do that?
Like I said, they're not free to go, and at that point in time, we were investigating a possible crime. So I read them Miranda, so they can understand it.
And did Courtney give a statement?
Yes,
And did this statement happen all at once?
yes,
Okay. And did she have to get moved at any point?
yes, she did.
Why was that?
We moved her just so there's less crowd, less people around, less people yelling, easier to hear, easier to communicate with her.
And where did you put her?
In the rear of Officer DeLeon's patrol vehicle.
And did you continue to talk to her there?
Yes, I did.
And did she continue to give a statement?
Yes, she did.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
And just a statement.
Judge, and that's the state's 9,
State's time. I just drew the state.
and Judge, that's the body cam from Officer David. I don't have an objection to that.
Stay with all states exhibit 9.
State's exhibit number 9 then is admitted without objection.
I'm showing you what's been marked as state's exhibit number 9. What is this?
My body cam footage.
And have you had a chance to view it?
Yes,
And aside from redactions, is it a true and accurate copy of the video from that night?
yes, it is.
Your Honor, permission to publish?
Granted.
Because you're on handcuff? Because you're on handcuff, you want to detain right now? I read our rights, okay?
Here, Judge, it may be easier just for me to put it on the hard drive. I think that was causing an issue. Your Honor, if we can approach.
Yes.
So, Officer David, do you remember primarily what was the conversation about?
Between who, me and Ms. Fern?
Yes, sir.
I just asked her what happened and she told me her statement on what happened inside the bathroom.
And you weren't there at that time.
No,
And do you recall how was she behaving while she was giving you her statement?
she seemed, of course, irate, frustrated with the situation, annoyed, just a plethora of different emotions going on.
Okay. And were you able to get a statement from the other person that was detained?
I was not, no.
Okay. So how long do you remember does this statement last?
Approximately maybe about 5 minutes.
Okay. And from your memory, did she ever say what specifically happened between her and Adam?
Yes, she did.
Did she use like names? Did she know?
She did not, no.
Okay. And so it's broken up into these two pieces. Did she ever say what started this entire altercation?
Not particularly. She just said that they were trying to use the restroom and it was bar closing time, so security went in trying to get people out.
Okay. And did she ever say how the altercation between the other person that was detained and Teresa, did she ever say how that started?
No, she wasn't sure. She didn't see that.
Okay. Here, got about 15 seconds left.
Because you're on handcuffs and you're detained right now, I read our rights, okay? Before you ask any questions, it might be that a police officer advising your rights and when you consequence and measures, right? You have the rights to maintain silence. You cannot have it against anything or arrested on any someone who may use against you to court of law. You have the right to lawyer present to advise you in court of law or try to have your own lawyer present or have you or going to with an employee lawyer, the court of offensive lawyer for your charge now or anytime you want. If you decide to talk to anyone, you can stop by going anytime you want. These both rights to human rights should be heard by you any size of proceedings.
Okay, so right there, why did you read the Miranda warning off of a card?
Usually I just do it because I don't have the Miranda warnings by memory.
And is it common for SAPD officers to do that?
Yes, most of us do.
And why do you read it directly from the card?
Just so it's the same thing every single time. There's no discrepancies.
And do you want to talk? Do you want to learn too?
Yes, I'm gonna talk to you so you don't have to.
Okay.
So what happened is that swing and up.
Right.
Some of the bunch of women discouraged. Right. We can drink on it. So I'm rushing the court. She went to the restroom door yelling. And then the officer called me, the man officer, if you come to me, she's in the whole.
You can see how or why.
It's not in the restroom now. Luckily with this one, and I'm like, yeah. Couple of them in the restroom, that is. Yeah, restroom.
Right.
That's harassment. That's harassment. And that's not okay. So. whatever we have to do, yeah, please.
So at what point did they put hands on you? Did they put hands on you?
She.
House security guard over there?
No.
He did? Okay, how did he put his hands on you? Okay. 2:30, bars already closing.
Okay. I know it's a lot, okay? I know a lot just happened when you're emotional and you from sort of, you're nervous too. I can see that, okay? But you need time to happen. Okay, but other than. And we get all
They
that.
said last call,
Mhm.
Courtney said it a couple times, everybody's taking their time.
Right.
So we're all like, oh, we have to go to the restroom, we have to. Hey, bitch, stop walking, I'm not gonna take no more. We gotta go pee, and so we go to the restroom, and we're using the restroom. But the door, the woman, security. No, she's like yelling.
Okay.
Like, when her at the door, she's like yelling. Like telling us like, you know, she's not in the restroom, but she's like cursing, like aggressive. And so we're like, whatever, like what can she do? So I come out of the stall and her and my friend on the ground. Like they, oh, and I'm like inside the stall, I was toilet, and I'm like, we were inside with the square, and there was other women in there washing their hands, and they all heard him cussing and her cussing at us, calling us bitches and hoes. If they went to slash in the restroom, we were just like, it's not for you to like vandalizing or doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm only ground, it doesn't. They're taking us out. And then that's.
Like people ask are like the customers or the.
No, those work, people that work
Okay,
there.
bartenders.
There was a bartender in the restroom who kind of saw people like, should we get me out? And I told him, I said, he was in the restroom. And he was like, you know what, we're detaining her too. And he took his cuffs out because I was telling the person that worked there what happened. He was only detaining her at first.
Okay.
And then as soon as I started telling you, like, no. Get her too. I want to work out here, not working in the team. And then next thing I know, I'm getting this. And it's like, what are we doing? Like, yeah, we're at a bar, we're drinking, having a good time. But it's okay to use the restroom at 2 a.m. I understand your security, you're doing your job. But okay, because we got drunk and we had a couple of drinks and had to take a piss at 2 a.m. They were saying that, oh, the whole time as we were sitting here, he's like, you should have went earlier. You should have went earlier. Are you serious? That's not okay. That's not okay. You should have went earlier. You should have went to go pee earlier. That's your problem. So now, because we're in this situation, it's our problem. Instead of just being courteous and saying, hey, you guys got 5 minutes to clear out of the restroom, and then we're gonna close the restroom. We were all in line. There was a long line is what happened. The lady security guard bum rushed the line and told us like, we need to get out. We were like, no, we need to go pee real quick before we leave here. And that's when she got mad. And so it's like literally a matter of pee or not pee. And it's like, we just wanted to pee. That's it. That's it. No one wanted to fight anybody. No one wanted to do anything. And then all I know that kind of questions like this lady right here with the security guard and my friend and her underground fight each other. Hey, she's like, yeah, these bitches gonna keep talking. And it's like, if you're being professional and doing your job as an officer or as security, you're not calling any person in your presence bitches and hoes. That's not okay. And that's not professional.
And while she was fighting with your friend, the other guy was on top of you, started trying to pin you down.
Security guard.
Right,
He
yeah.
was the security guard. Yeah, he came in there. And he was already in the restroom, but I was like, what? Her and the other girl fighting. Literally, they still write the money. I'm just like, all this for using the restroom.
Yeah. I get you.
It's ridiculous. It's not like we were hurting anybody, we weren't doing anything, just using the restroom. Like,
It's not okay. That's not okay. To be harassed in the restroom just because you have to pee
Yeah.
at 2 a.m.
Mhm.
You could just wait.
They're recording, okay. Everyone's in record.
Pass the witness, judge.
Defense.
Yeah, Officer David, my name is Luis Martinez. I'm Courtney's attorney in this case. I'm gonna ask some questions. If I put it in a way that just, I don't phrase it right or doesn't make sense, let me know so I can clear it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Officer David, obviously you're not there for the altercation, right?
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay, so your job is to come in kind of afterwards and figure out what happened.
correct.
And then once you figure out what happened, it's to decide whether or not to make an arrest.
That's correct.
So when you get there on the scene, the two people who have been arrested or have been detained are Courtney Pride and Jasmine Hardaway. Did you find out both those names later?
I did, yes.
And in the video, Jasmine's the shorter woman wearing the orange top, right?
Mhm. That's correct.
And the woman that we've seen talking in the video, that's Courtney.
That's correct.
When you were dealing with Courtney, obviously she was upset, right?
Yes.
Okay, she's frustrated with the situation, you said.
Mhm. Yes.
Was she ever disrespectful with you?
Not to me.
Was she disrespectful to any of the other police officers that were there at the scene?
Not that I recall.
Now you were there, you were obviously not looking to aggravate the situation, right?
Correct.
When you come to talk to her and Jasmine, you're trained to be respectful to them.
That's correct.
Okay, you're trained to be as reasonable as you can be, right?
Yeah.
And did that seem to be working, especially with Courtney?
I think so. Yes, sir.
Okay. So you gave her a little respect and courtesy and compassion, and she was pretty cooperative with you, right?
Correct.
In fact, you asked her for her statement and she gave it to you, right?
Correct.
And even though Jasmine was telling her not to talk to you,
Yes.
then when you helped her up and got her over to the vehicle,
Mhm.
did she resist you at all?
She did not. No.
Did she resist getting up?
She did not.
So she goes voluntarily over to the other vehicle where you directed her.
Correct.
She followed all your directions.
Correct.
And then at that point, you asked her for the story again, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And the second version of the story she gave you was consistent with the first version, right?
Yeah.
So her story essentially is that she's using the restroom. It's after closing time, right?
Correct.
But that all she's trying to do is use the restroom, wash her hands and get out, right?
Correct.
And so the other part of her story is that security is aggressively trying to get them out of the bathroom.
Mhm.
Okay, is that right?
From what she told me.
Okay, I'm saying that's the other part of her story,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Okay, and that's consistent with what you know about security at closing time, right?
Correct.
And at some point, there's an altercation between the female security officer and Jasmine Hardaway.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, that's what was told to you, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
And so is it, if a person sees an altercation between two people, in your training, are they allowed to use defensive third person to help that third person?
And I'm gonna object to speculation, Judge.
Any other objections?
It's also a legal question. He's asking.
Sustained.
People answer.
So when you get into a situation like that, just because there's an altercation doesn't mean someone's guilty of an assault, right?
That's correct.
You have to get all the facts.
Correct.
Sometimes it can look like defense of somebody else, right?
Correct.
Sometimes it can look like self-defense.
Correct.
And so it's not automatic that you're going to arrest this person.
That's correct.
Now, the story that Courtney's giving you about defending her friend, that's consistent with defense of a third person, right?
Objection, again, calling for a legal answer.
Sustained.
Um, and so the story that she's giving you, if you believe her story, you may not make an arrest in this case, right?
I'm gonna object to calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Like you said, you don't have to make an arrest in this case. You can send it over to the DA's office for their review too, right?
That's correct.
Good. Now, did you charge Courtney with anything other than assault of a security guard that night?
I did not charge her. I was not the handling officer.
Okay, that wasn't your decision, right?
Correct.
To the best of your knowledge, was she charged with anything else?
Not to my knowledge.
Nobody charged her with public intoxication?
Not to my knowledge.
Now, when you're dealing with her, did she look intoxicated to you?
Not particularly.
She wasn't obviously intoxicated,
No.
because you deal with drunk people all the time, right?
Yes.
Okay, and this night Courtney's not slurring her speech.
Correct.
When she's walking over from where you dealt with her on the curb to the car, she's not staggering or stumbling, right?
Not that I noticed.
Okay, and she's in these high heel boots, right?
I don't know.
Okay, well, we can see that in the video.
Okay.
And despite that fact, there's no obvious stagger or stumble.
Correct.
And so, I mean, she admits to you that she had been drinking that night, right?
Correct.
Did she ever try to hide that from you?
No, she didn't.
There was a search of her, right?
Yes.
No drugs or excuse me, no drugs or weapons were found on her.
Not to my knowledge.
Did you speak to other women who had been in the bathroom that night?
Yes, I did.
And they gave you their account of what happened, correct?
Yes,
Because they had been in the bathroom at the same time.
that is correct.
Okay. So if this jury is told that there were only two people in the bathroom, Courtney and Jasmine, that's not what you were told that night.
Objection to hearsay.
Sustained.
Now, we've watched part of this video, right? The body cam video.
Either.
That's not the whole video, right?
Correct.
There's part of the video where you come up to the scene and are dealing with the women, right?
Correct.
There's another part of the video where you're getting the story from Courtney, correct?
Correct.
After that, there's a part of the video where you are speaking to other women, correct?
That's correct.
So Judge, under the rule of optional completeness, I'd like the jury to see the entire video this time.
Okay. All right, if you want to play the entire video, it's admitted into evidence. You're more than welcome to play the entire video.
Yeah, it's admitted evidence, Judge. So at this point.
Yes,
rule
you
of
can
optional
play.
Your Honor,
completeness is
may I approach?
Yes. All right, defense, do you wish to place state's exhibit number 9?
Judge, I need to go ahead and drop the video um, onto another flash drive, then offer it through him.
Okay.
Um,
All right, ladies, and
Judge, at this point, can we approach?
yes, well, just a second. How long is it going to take to do that, counsel?
Not long at all, but the video in its entirety is about 40 minutes.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you all a 15-minute break, and then we'll come back in 15 minutes, which will put us close to 11:30. Remember my instructions. You're not allowed to start deliberating in your head or with each other. You are not to do any investigation. Everything that you need to know about this case is coming from inside the courtroom only. Does everyone understand? Make sure that your badges are visible, because sometimes you have attorneys who are walking around. Sometimes they're discussing different cases, but I want them to know that you're a juror so they won't discuss anything around you. All right, everyone, please rise for the jurors. All right, everyone, please be seated.
There's the doors open.
Okay. All right, everyone, please be seated. And you said you wanted to, I guess, make copy or have a copy of his.
I've got a copy of it that we can call defense exhibit number 1.
Okay,
But I'm going to, so Judge, what I'm going to do at this time, just so there's no confusion, is he's going to have objections, and we just need to get a legal ruling, and then I'm going to make a bill of exception.
no, that's fine.
So at this point, state's exhibit number 9, Judge,
Mhm.
is, I mean, it's the body cam. Now they can say it's redacted portions of the body cam, but it's the body
Is
cam.
defense exhibit number 1 the entirety of
It's
the
yes.
body cam without redactions?
without reductions. So yes, without
All right.
redactions.
State, are you stipulating that that is what is defense exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor, as long as it's a matching video with those portions and it's just the rest of it.
It will be, Judge.
All right. Actually.
Did she talk to you again? Yes. What did she tell you? The fact that they wanted to use this format indicates that they get the good and the bad of it. And under the rule of optional
Yeah,
It
well-
was gonna be brief and then hers is gonna be brief.
Yeah, she's put on photos, right?
Yeah.
All right, so both parties, while they are working on the redactions, we're gonna come back at 1:30, so we're gonna break for lunch. No objections from either side to breaking for lunch at this point?
No, Judge.
None from the state, Your Honor.
All right, so the rule has been invoked. You're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you're allowed to speak to are attorneys for the state of the defense. Deputy Laura, without objection, is letting the jurors know to come back at 1:30. So if you can be here by 1:15, just in case either party needs to show the video to you, okay?
Yes, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, is there anything else before we break for lunch?